Hi there, welcome back to Silver Lining Art. My name is Anish, and since the day I started this channel, I've been getting requests from people to talk more about the techniques I use and how they can improve their own art and their own watercolor paintings. And this is exactly what I'm going to do in this video today by painting one of the most frequently painted subjects in watercolor, a boat. I'm going to be reviewing three key lessons in this video. First one is on composition, second one is on value control, and the third one is on color harmony. And watch till the end of the video because I will show you examples on how I break all of these three rules in other paintings tastefully.
There's a good reason why boats are such a common subject painted in watercolor. I think it's a very prominent foreground, the subject everyone knows what a boat more or less looks like, and the background looks fine and it can be very abstract. You can pretty much do anything in the background as long as you have a horizon line, it will make sense. So I think it's a really popular subject for beginners uh, and professionals as well. I think it's a really fantastic subject. So in this painting, I'm going to talk about, as I mentioned before, three tips or guidelines for you to start painting and to focus on while you paint. The first thing I'm going to talk about is color harmony, and I usually achieve color harmony by using a limited palette. So that means you just restrict the number of colors you use. In this painting, I've only used three colors: French ultramarine, quinacridone rose, and burnt sienna. And just the combination of these three colors that makes everything. And I feel like using limited palette really helps tie the whole picture together. It feels like everything belongs in the same scene, and that's really important. But I think there's something more important than the colors you pick, and I think that's the values. By value, I mean how dark or how light you put that color in. And uh, usually you want to have your darkest darks and your lightest lights where you want the viewer's attention the most. So if you see there on the right side where I'm going to be putting the boat, I've left some white space, and that's where the boat is going to go. So I'm going to have my darkest darks right by those the whitest white that's on the paper that I've left, and that will really attract the attention of the viewer and really quickly tell the viewer that that is the subject they're supposed to be focusing on. And as I paint the boat in, I will also talk about a little bit about the composition of this painting. And I've used a really common rule of composition called the rule of thirds. Now it is called a rule, but remember that these are just guidelines. Everything I'm telling you, uh, they are helpful and they will help your painting, but I think you can still have a really good painting even if you don't follow them. So essentially, the rule of third says that you should have your big lines in your painting or your big subjects or anything that draws attention on the side. So it shouldn't be on this in the center of the picture or your canvas. So if you look at the horizon line is in the bottom third, and the line formed by the mast of the boats is on the right third, and that leaves a big chunk of the canvas just empty with not a lot in there. And eventually, once the viewer looks at the painting for long enough, their attention will move towards the smaller frame that is created by the horizon line and the mast, and they will start thinking about, oh, what's happening on that landmass? So when I was painting it, I always thought that the landmass looked a little bit like a dusty, warm city. So I'm thinking of either Mumbai or Casablanca, a city where it's really hot, there's a lot going on, and it can feel like it's very polluted and dusty. But as soon as you move out into the ocean, it's really nice, cool, and calm. There's breeze, and that is sort of the vibe I was going for. Do let me know what you think in the comments below about the landmass and what it looks like to you. And I'm putting the reflection in. I think the reflection is really important to show that this is in fact water, and making sure all the lines are dark. As I said before, the darkest dark and the lightest light have to be together to attract attention. At the end, I also decided to add a few birds there, and a lot of, again, this is a tool used by a lot of watercolor painters, because when the size of the birds usually doesn't change, whether be it pigeons or seagulls, we know how big they are, and that really helps uh, the viewer understand the size of the landmass or the subject, because we know how big a bird is. So it's something that you can put in your paintings as well, and it really helps to make it clear how big or small things are. It really helps you identify scale in paintings by putting a few birds there. So again, the three rules that I would want you to think about before you start painting is color harmony, what colors you're picking, value control, how light or dark you want things to be, and your composition. If you think about these three things, you're much likely to have a more fun time painting, because you're not stressed all the time about what you're going to do next. And the painting will turn out pretty good as well. I really want to show you a few paintings where I break all of these rules. Not all of these, but some of these. For instance, this painting that I made in my sketchbook, we were drinking wine out at a park, and it was really nice with the fall colors. So if you see one thing, I've put the wine bottle right in the middle of the painting. So I haven't followed the rule of thirds, and I've used so many different colors in this painting. I did not have a limited palette, but I think I was still able to capture the essence or of the evening and what I was going for in this painting. So it was okay for me to break these guidelines to get to the essence that was behind the painting. And then there is this painting, which is, I call it Forest Floor, and it really doesn't have a foreground and a background as such. So the rule of thirds makes not a lot of sense. Also, I haven't used a color palette, limited palette, color palette. There's so many colors in here. However, there is really good value control. I've done all this negative painting, and that's what helps bring out the leaves. This is just to show you that once you know these guidelines, you can also figure out how to break them most effectively.
Hope you enjoyed this video and do let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. This is my first tutorial style video and I really would appreciate your feedback on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you want to get hold of me, you can find me on Instagram at Indian Guy Creates. See you next time.